there's people out there that want to keep us outraged and to further divide everyone. And then she stopped me. She's like, yeah, because we're in two completely different algorithms. And I don't see any of the things that you're talking about. And I was like, yeah. And that's why none of this makes sense to the other side, because we don't see it. One of the biggest things that he used to say was, when people stopped talking, civil war is going to happen. Like, it's the most dangerous thing that can possibly happen when people feel like they can't just sit down and talk with another person about whatever the issue is. Once we get to a point where we just can't talk anymore, that's when the trouble starts. Don't be afraid to sit across from somebody. Meet them where they are.
Offer grace.
Be humble.
This is More Than Reality podcast, where we dive into all things faith, family, and marriage, and share that there is so much more than the reality that you see on the surface. Welcome to More Than Reality with Adam and Danielle Busby.
All right, guys, this is Adam and Danielle Busby.
Oh my God, it's episode 50.
I was just about to lead into that. This is Adam and Danielle Busby from More Than Reality podcast, and I was going to give Danielle the honors because she remembered what episode this was. So
it's episode 50. I'm 50.
50.
I actually remembered for random reason. I was like, Adam, is this episode 50? And he said, yeah. I can't believe we had 50 episodes. I've really been thinking a lot. We've had a lot of like feedback and like, just kind of like looking at like where the podcast started, what we've been kind of talking about, and the vision of like what we want the podcast to be. We've kind of been going through like a life transition of just like moving and everything, and, you know, trying to keep it real on the podcast. And so our vision here is to, you know, talk life, talk real, share our heart, share our faith, share parenting things and marriage things. Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
I'll be into that, though.
That's what I was going to say.
Me too. Jinx.
Does that remind
Jinx
you of the, does that remind you of the sizzle?
Yeah.
Every time I hear that. But I forgot what to say. Oh yeah. So our goal is to have conversations with other people too, and bring people into the podcast and have interviews and topics and conversations with others too. Just right now, we're just still back in transition with, you know, the house and stuff like that. And so, but speaking of the house, we finally listed the house, which is really good.
House is finally on the market.
And, which is, it feels kind of like, you know, we still got to get it sold, which is good.
We've had a few people come and look at it over the last few days.
Yeah, it's had a lot of traction.
It just got listed right at the beginning of this week. So
yeah,
it's fresh on the market.
Yeah. And we've had good feedback and stuff. So just waiting on that perfect offer to come in, or a couple offers would be nice. You know, I want to, like a little bidding war would be even better.
Heck yeah.
But ready to close that chapter really, and just feel like I can't get settled in even this temporary home until that's kind of closed, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, we still have a garage full of stuff over there.
And a garage and attic and patio, and there's another garage behind the patio, and there's still quite a few stuff that we gotta like go get like once the house sells. But
at least the house is like straight up. It looks good.
Just praying the weather gets a little cooler.
I know,
because
right?
when we were moving the house last time, it was so dang hot.
Dude, Adam was so busy the week that the house was getting pictures done. So I was like going back and forth and doing all the final things and moving stuff out and moving it to the garage. I told him, I was like, I'm doing all the man things.
Yeah, because I would have just enough time. Like, okay, I can run over there. I can do this one thing, and then I have to leave. And I did that for like a few days in a row. Like, there's so much stuff that, like, little random things that I need to do, but like, I can only do this one thing right now. And so like, I'd run over there,
And then we had 2 days left.
30 plus minutes away. I'll do that one task and I'd jump in my truck before I got sidetracked. But
and then the day that like we had to like do the paint and stuff in your office, and I'm like,
what?
And I walk in and like have the paint, and like I'm like up on the ladder, and you come in, and I'm like on the ladder and I'm painting, you know, the thing or whatever. You had already done like the patching and whatever.
So in my office at the old house, so it was like a little production studio, and so like I had these hydraulic arms mounted to the walls in three places.
How you always say I give too many details and stuff,
because they're like heavy duty arms for like big heavy lights or cameras and stuff like that, so you can like move them around the room. It takes big anchors to put in the wall, so I had to like pull those off, patch them, retexture the wall, stuff like that.
And so I'm in here painting on a ladder, and Adam comes in, and I don't know, he just comes in here.
What?
He sits down on the floor. He just sits down on the floor and starts talking to me, and I get down the ladder and I walk over to the other one. He's just like talking to me, and I'm just like sitting here painting. I'm like, he's like, is that a spot? I'm like, bro, like I'm about to like get that ladder and move it over here and either get a paintbrush or get out of here, and don't tell me that I missed a spot. Do you remember that? You're like, oh, my bad. I'm like, okay, you don't have to paint, but at least move the ladder around for me. That was funny. You're not a multitasker. You cannot paint and talk at the same time.
No.
Anyway.
But I get like super fixated, and like, I remember whenever I was like touching up some stuff upstairs, there was like some thing, like I had to.
I know, remember I asked you, I go, that's the only thing you did?
Yeah, because I would like see something else and I would jump to that, and then I'd see something else and I'd jump to that because I had like the paint in my hand, so I'm like touching up. I ended up like painting pretty much like half of the upstairs like baseboards and stuff because like I just kept jumping around, and I'm like, well, if I painted this, I need to go paint that, and like and it wasn't all what I went there to do, but
yeah,
whatever.
It was funny. But the house looks good, and hope it goes to the perfect family.
It was nice painting that though, because I knew the next day they were coming to put carpet in, so I didn't have to worry about even getting paint on the carpet.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, that was nice. All right, so now we're going to take a little break from our sponsor today, which is Cozy Earth. And man, this week more than ever, I've wanted to just like
crash in your bed.
In the bed.
I actually walked in over the weekend, and you were like laying in bed taking a nap, and I don't know if I've ever seen you.
No, it's because I had a headache.
I don't know if I've ever seen you like just cuddle up in bed and take a nap.
Yeah.
But it almost made me want to get in bed too, because I'm like, no, that's my cozy bed.
I very rarely do that,
but I know you were cozy.
I was definitely cozy. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just something about those just bamboo sheets. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, they're definitely breathable. They keep you cool at night, and even when you're taking a nap during the day.
Yeah. Yeah, so we use the Cozy Earth sheets every single night. We absolutely love them. And
even when I wash my Cozy Earth sheets, I used to just put another set of sheets on and, you know, put them in the laundry.
I know, now you leave the bed like all undone because you want to wait till those.
I literally wash and dry them and put them back on the bed.
We need to order a second set just for our bed. So we just do hot swap.
But they really are worth the investment. They have 100-day sleep guarantee. So if you
sleep trial, a 10-year guarantee.
10-year guarantee, yeah, so I said that wrong. 10-year guarantee, 100-day sleep trial. So if you don't have the best sleep ever in those 100 days, send them back, get your money back. But I want to say, I promise, they are worth it because they've changed my life and my sleep habits.
You know what? absolutely makes it worth it is 40% off.
Yeah.
And so if you go to cozyearth.com, you can use the code more than, and you'll get 40% off anything on their website.
Yeah.
And so now is the time to go try Cozy Earth.
Yeah.
You can get 40% off. You got 100 days to try them, which trust me, you're not going to send them back. And then on top of that, you have 10-year warranty on your Cozy Earth sheets. So great company. We've been using them for quite a while now and absolutely love them. Yep. So thank you, Cozy Earth, for sponsoring this episode.
Yep. Thank you, Cozy Earth. Anyway, so let's see, episode 50. It's I would like to say it's a fun episode, but it's a big episode. I mean, we've made it to 50.
Yeah.
But this episode, it's I don't know, it's heavy because we've gone this weekend last week has just been very heavy and tragic. I'm gonna let Adam kind of talk about a lot of this and like lead the conversation, but it's been a lot. So
yeah, and I mean, obviously everyone around the world has seen it and stuff. I mean, I feel like we could not film a next podcast without at least speaking on the horrible thing that we all saw this past week. You know, obviously you have a school shooting at Evergreen High School in Colorado. Horrendous, terrible.
Yeah.
You had a lady that was from Ukraine that was brutally murdered. I believe it was in North Carolina on a train. And that was horrible. It was horrible seeing the people on the train that did nothing about it also. And then on the 10th, Charlie Kirk's assassination. And, we've shared a few things, and I'm sure everybody has been bombarded with takes on every single side. And, but it's gotten conversations started, good and bad, about everything. And I didn't want this episode specifically to be about the assassination of Charlie Kirk, because there's like something like so much like deeper and underlying within that. Yes, it was horrible.
And our hearts go out to the family and Erica and the kids, and the fact that was, seen across the world, and she saw it. Her kids are young and can one day, as older as that video is out there, and it is something that they can see one day as they're older. And it's just a tragic, hard thing. And our hearts go out to that family. And, Charlie was a father, and he was a husband and a friend and a person. And it's just a tragic day.
Yeah.
And so we are so sorry for the loss of Charlie.
Yeah. And I mean, anyone, believed like the things that he was saying or didn't like the things that he's saying, the problem with it all is nothing that anyone says is worth what happened.
Right.
And, that's the bigger issue. And so how have we gotten here as a society, as a people and then you look at the reactions of people online, a lot of people, very moderate, just reasonable people were like, man, that was horrible. I wish I would have never seen that. Right. Ever, and that should have never happened. And people and then you saw the other side of it, of people that laughed about it and said he deserved it and all these things, and you're like, wow,
that is just evil.
And that was horrible. And so, it just got me thinking about, there's a clear, we've said it multiple times throughout the course of the last 49 podcasts. We've spoken, this year at one point, I even shared a story of coming face to face with like a demonic presence. And I feel like, in a sense, there was a bit of a blessing. It's hard to say that. There was a bit of a blessing that came from the tragedy. And that blessing was hundreds of millions of people. Their eyes were open to it was like God peeled back a veil and exposed hundreds of millions of people to evil. And they were able to see the spiritual realm of demons, demonic presence, demonic possession through other people all over the world. Because I truly believe anybody that is celebrating the death of somebody like this in such a tragic way, a father, a husband, and is celebrating and laughing about it, that is demonic. And I truly believe that. And, the more of like thinking about that, and then the more of, you're seeing people that are not necessarily believers all over the world, it's caused them to start thinking about, the Bible and,
I've heard
taking a step, like a second look at, man, should I go back to church? And should I start seeking, like, why do I feel this way? Because it caused a reaction in a lot of people.
And a reaction that us as believers would say is the Holy Spirit, and what they're feeling is something they can't explain, but it is causing them to seek something.
Yeah.
And so their reaction has been like, okay, let me open a Bible, or let me go buy a Bible, or let me step back into church, or I've never stepped in church, or I haven't been to church in 5 years. And I had a friend tell me that her sister went to church this past Sunday for the first time in 15 years and, gave her life to Christ like that day. Which it's just tragedy was seen that day. But what you're saying is, this veil of evil was witnessed across the board from like millions of people. And I think it has opened the eyes of a lot. And, Erica, Kurt, her message of like, you don't know what you have unveiled and what is now going to be seen and shown, and I believe like the believers and the followers of Christ and us, like we have got to stand forward and we have got to be more bold and shout like the truth and don't let the evil win,
Yeah. It's definitely unleashed, and you can see that amongst thousands of people for sure that I've even seen, that just like a newfound boldness to just not be afraid to say what they feel or what they believe. And, at the, whether you believe the things that Charlie said or not, one of the biggest things in his, him going to college campuses, him debating all these other people, one of the biggest things that he used to say was, when people stopped talking, civil war is going to happen. Like, it's the most dangerous thing that can possibly happen when people feel like they can't just sit down and talk with another person about whatever the issue is. Once we get to a point where we just can't talk anymore, that's when the trouble starts. And I feel like we still are, we're at this tipping point of people that are just afraid to speak up because they're afraid they're going to be shouted down or canceled or attacked or killed or whatever that may be. And that has to stop.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing that anybody can say, no words that anybody can say that's worth just taking somebody's life for over words. Like if you disagree with somebody, okay, that's fine. That's your opinion. Walk away. But the fact that it's like absolutely like enrages people to the point of feeling like they need to take someone's life, that's where things are just so sideways. And yesterday, I'm not going to like say any names or anything. If you listen to this, obviously you know who you are. But I had like a 3-hour conversation yesterday with somebody that I very much so, like we're on polar opposite ends of the spectrum in beliefs. You know, whenever it comes to just like social issues, politics, stuff like that, we couldn't be more probably opposite. But she posted something on social media, and I still follow her. Like that's also something that I don't understand either. Like, okay, you know, there's people that, you know, there's things that, you know, you have in common. There's things that you like about somebody, but then you find out that they support this or have said this, and then it's like, oh, automatic unfollow, like I never want to see you again. And that's like, that's silly. I follow all kind of people that like believe other things that I don't believe, but so you know, I still follow her. She still follows me on social media.
How much of that do we see on our own personal feeds of,
oh yeah,
how dare you follow that one person? Or, you know, we've gotten a lot of traction on, you know, just for like, we went to the visual and the prayer night for Charlie Kirk in Houston, and like just all the comments, like, how dare you follow? I thought you were a better person than that, and all the things. And it's like, whoa, like this is something I feel as a Christian. Yeah. And
I've seen an injustice.
And
it was somebody that was personal to us, and, you know, it resonated. And so we went there to show our support for our city and for Erica and her family. And
even just for the country. Yeah. Like, you know,
like now's the time. I mean, it's just like a kind of like a post 9/11 thing, whenever the country comes together.
Yeah.
You know, we just wanted to come together with other people just to show our support. And people are like, oh, I can't believe you actually did that, or he deserved that, or whatever. Immediate unfollow. I'm like, at this point, like, I don't care, especially after the things that I've seen last week, the things that nobody should see. And then the way that was celebrated, like, I feel like this line has drawn in the sand where, no, Charlie encouraged people to speak, and he was bold in that. And yes, people attacked him, people hated him for it, but he always encouraged people. Like, if you have a question or a disagreement,
it's the whole
step up to the mic debate. And let's just talk. And if you truly, without finding the sound bites and the edited clips and the things taken out of context that you see on social media, if you actually watch the videos that he posted, there's probably tens of thousands of hours of video of all his debates and school visits and all this kind of stuff that are online for the world to see. And if you scrub through those and you watch the discussions in full context from beginning to end, he was actually extremely cordial. He was very courteous and gracious in his responses. And he was, unless he was attacked by somebody very personally, he was still very pleasant. That's the problem nowadays, is that, you know, so here we go back to the 3-hour conversation that I had. So I'm on the phone yesterday. So this person, she sends me a text message because she posted on her Instagram feed. She's like, "Hey, I would like to speak to like another Christian that has, you know, pretty conservative views and conservative values. I would like to get your take on some things." And then I saw that like nobody responded, and so like the next day I just responded on there and I was like, "Hey, any takers?" And then I get a text message from her a little bit later that day. She's like, "Hey, you feel like getting on a phone call?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's go." So what I've gathered from that phone conversation, we spoke for 3 hours, and probably more than 90% of that phone conversation, we both agreed on everything we were talking about. We both wanted the same things. There was like a few little minor nuances to certain topics or whatever that, you know, you kind of conceded with each other. Okay, yeah, that's, you know, like more social topics here and there that, okay, I understand that you believe that, because I would explain like why I believe that. And she's like, "Well, you know, yeah, I get your point." But, and then she would say like, she would tell her side, and then, okay, like, and I understand her side of it. And it was cordial. Not a single time in the entire 3 hours that either person like raised their voice. We were very gracious with each other, and we were able to freely speak our mind. Never got heated. It was actually very pleasant, and I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. And one thing that we both gathered is that, you know, through all of this, we all want the same thing. Like, we all want...
Did y'all both agree on that?
Yeah. Like, we all want to be able to, like, live our lives with, you know, the most simple things of just being able to have a house or a roof over our head, lower gas prices, easier access, you know, to lower costs in food, like, you know, just like random, like all these issues, like we both want the same thing. And it was just these few very minor things that we kind of like disagreed with, and none of that stuff, it was enough to like raise the temperature or make like either one of us feel outraged for it. And after that conversation, you know, I was just thinking about it is, you know, so why is the temperature so high right now across the media, across social media, across, you know, everything? Like, why are people so angry and outraged and just want to like shout each other down and you're right, I'm wrong, and how dare you?
The divide.
And
there's so much division.
You know, and all this like just hate speech. Because at the end of the day, most of us want the same thing. It goes back to what was that documentary a few years back about social media, the social dilemma. It really goes back to that. I mean, you think about, you know, like social media platforms were created so people could communicate more and be able to communicate more easily and share your life with other people. But it's become so perverted and divisive because of the media and politics and all this stuff. And then, you know, algorithms have created to further divide. And because we were like talking about a few things, and she had mentioned a few things about Charlie Kirk and some of the things that she heard about Charlie Kirk. And so the things that she said about him, and I was like, but that was only half of the statement. And she's like, well, that's all I've seen. And then, so like I explained about, okay, well, this was the full context of that discussion. And right after that, where you stopped, he explained further and he went to this, and she was like, oh yeah, that makes a lot more sense. And I was like, yeah, exactly. And a lot of people have, and I've seen it because people are coming on my social media and are saying like, oh, he said this and he said this, but it's only half of the statements.
Yeah.
Because there's people out there that want to keep us outraged and to further divide everyone. Mm-hmm. And so people out there have an agenda, and their only goal is to further divide people. And so people get split up into these algorithms, split up into their camps. And so they don't see the content from the other side, and vice versa. Yeah. All you see is the stuff that you're consuming. And so they just keep feeding you more of that, more of that, more of that. And then it just gets more and more egregious, more and more inflammatory, to the point where now we're at this like fever pitch of everybody hates each other, and this side's a Nazi and this side, it's just, and for what? For what? And I feel like the people out there that are profiting because of it are the real problem. Yeah. You have people in the media. You look at the news, Fox News versus MSNBC, and, and they're both telling their side of the argument from their perspective and throwing insults at the other side. And all it's doing, all they want to do is keep you irritated and aggravated and angry, because if you stay angry, you're going to keep watching. And it's like a dopamine hit. People are just like addicted to it. And then it causes your stress levels to be high, which then is going to cause you to be angry, and it's going to change the demeanor of how you are with the people around you and how you are with your peers and your household and everything. And so how your fingers are on your responses to people that you don't even know. And so, I mean, at the end of the day, there's people that are making lots of money off of manipulating all of us. And no matter what you believe, I guarantee you can sit across from that other person. And if you can have the courage to have an intelligent conversation with somebody, you're going to find out that most of the things that you talk about, you're for the most part in alignment with. There might be a few little fringe things here and there. Other than that, it's not worth it. That was what I've learned. I mean, that was like one of the big things that I've learned for the most part from that conversation yesterday. It was like eye-opening, because, there was one thing, we were talking about some stuff, and I had explained about that soundbite that she was talking about. And she's like, well, I've never seen that. And then she stopped me. She's like, yeah, because we're in two completely different algorithms. And I don't see any of the things that you're talking about. And I was like, huh. Yeah. And that's why, none of this makes sense to the other side, because we don't see it. We're just being fed the stuff that social media thinks that they want you to see, because you have consumed that, or you may have liked this one thing that this person said. So it's just going to start sending you more of that. Yeah. And it just further just creates this big divide. I mean, and even the other day when we were at, like one of the teenagers said the other day, like, yeah, I saw the thing with all the stuff about Charlie Kirk, but then I just went to go look at like puppy videos for 2 hours just to get that stuff out of my feed. It's like kids know it. People know how algorithms work. Yeah. So they need to get smarter about like do better about using your own brain and say, is this what I believe, or is someone making me believe it? Okay. So stop doing what someone's telling you to do and make your own judgment and say, okay, I've been giving this information. What am I going to do about it? Is this the full truth that they're telling me? Let me investigate. Let me pull my own truth out of what I've received, because what you are receiving from the media is not the only truth. Yeah. It's not all the truth, right? Yeah. So what you see on this side and what you see on this side, you've got to do your own due diligence. Yes, due diligence with what do you come up with that, Yeah.
Because it's true. I mean, the media and it's social media just added. It's there to divide. It's there to keep you hyped up and keep your fingers going and to keep your brain from It's to keep you distracted and keep you from, I mean, it's only getting worse too,
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the stuff that I'll come across on social media that kind of like stirs something up in me as far as like gets me like feeling a certain way about something. Like I'll stop myself and I'm like, I'm not just going to take this person's word for that. Like, let me do some searching. Is this true?
Yeah.
And, and I feel like so much of this stuff the last few days, like every single attack I've received just for going to a prayer vigil that dozens and dozens of people were saved through faith in Jesus Christ which was like such a awesome thing to see. So many of the things that people were saying to me, like it's such like so misinformed.
Yeah.
Like it was like so many of this, the quotes and the snippets that people were sending me. I'm like, but that's only a small portion of it. Like you like send me the rest of it, because that's not the whole statement. And it was like so much of that, like so many people out there. Obviously social media has created us to just like keep swiping, like small micro content. And so you see this for 30 seconds and you're on to the next thing and you're, oh, this makes me mad. Let me like that and keep going.
Yeah.
And, instead of actually just like, don't be so freaking lazy and actually go look at it for yourself. I mean, there's tens of thousands of hours of all these recordings. I mean, everything he's probably ever said is out there in full context, full length. And, you can really see this. And obviously, there's things out there. I mean, he was definitely a very pro-life, pro-American, conservative Christian. And so like, obviously, if you don't believe in those things, obviously you're going to disagree with those things, but none of that stuff was worth like killing someone over. And a lot of the people that sat across from him in a conversation ended up walking away with a smile on their face and like, or, thanking them for just like speaking. And it wasn't that difficult. I mean, there was very few people that walked away that looked angry. And so I don't know. I mean, it's just, I believe there's some very rich and powerful people out there that are playing us all for fools, especially after seeing this week. Like, you need to see it for what it is. They're playing all of us. They're playing on our emotions, and they're getting rich off of it. And people are dying because of it, because we're so freaking angry and so divided in our side, and they're right, I'm wrong, and at the end of the day, we all want the same things.
Yeah.
So,
and media is the only word that is true is the words that God has spoken, and those come from the Bible. So the stuff that comes from the media is their take on what they have seen. They're journalists, so they're hearing something, they're seeing something, and they're telling you a story. They're reading you a story that they have put together, okay? And 5 people can go out there and give you 5 different stories, just like you read the Gospels. They're telling you there's 4 Gospels in the book, in the Bible. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, they're telling you all the same story from their point of view. That is true. That is true. These words are true. So the Bible has true words spoken by Jesus, God's words, but you can't take all the media as true. And I believe that us Americans and everybody around the world needs to be smarter with what they're intaking, and do better. You just need to do better.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's
that next generation for sure.
And that means all sides.
Yeah.
I mean, Fox News is responsible. NBC is responsible. Like, everybody plays a part in this. They're all doing the same things to all of us, and we're all just being played for fools.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, my plea for everyone out there is just lower the temperature. We need to get our country back to the way things used to be, where people could actually sit across from each other and have a conversation, because you'll find out really quickly most of the things that you talk about, you're going to find common ground.
Yeah.
So that would be my encouragement for you.
And if we all liked and all had the same thing, there wouldn't be nothing to talk about. So it's okay to disagree with things. It makes conversation. But it's not okay to not talk about it.
Yeah.
Did I say that right? It's not okay to not talk about it. Yes, we need to have conversations. Adam and I disagree. We're two different brain. We two different likings on things, but conversation is what we have to do. Conversation is what still needs to take place within the country, within the world, to make things happen, which make things work together, come to common ground. Like, I mean, it's part of our marriage. It needs to be part of the covenant of this world.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's my encouragement. Like, lower the temperature, meet someone where they are, have grace for other people, have grace for their opinion, and just find out where, like, how, like, what allowed them to form that opinion, and not be afraid to, like, share yours. Because, I mean, there's things that we believe in because we have a lived experience of what gave us that belief and gave us that opinion.
Not just because someone told us.
And so, and that's why we have that opinion about things. And if you just, like, understand that from people, you'll see, like, the humanity in people and what causes them to believe what they believe. So that's all I've got.
It's good.
So,
episode 50, guys.
Yeah. Hopefully it wasn't just like a Adam lecture, but I feel like it was just something that,
it's good.
That needs to be said, because
it needs to be talked about, and it's something that is going to be talked about. What has happened? I mean, this is a milestone.
Yeah, and it was something that, like,
in history.
I'm not just saying it just to say it, like, with like shallow words. Like, I literally had a 3-hour conversation with someone that I vehemently disagree with on almost everything, and it was enlightening, and it was cordial.
Yeah.
So let that encourage you. Don't be afraid to sit across from somebody. Meet them where they are.
Offer grace.
Be humble. So that's how I got it. Thank you for sitting here and listening to our heart. Thank you for sitting around through episode 50 of More Than Reality podcast. All right. We love you guys.
God bless America.